So you want to play... Well, bring several pairs of brown pants, cause you're gonna need them. If you don't know the name Amnesia, either you don't like horror games or you're too young to be watching this video. It is the game that launched 1,000 YouTube careers with the likes of PewDiePie and Markiplier cutting their teeth on Amnesia The Dark Descent. Starting with Penumbra back in 2007, that makes me feel old, Frictional Games made a name for themselves with physics-based horror games. What I mean by that is rather than having basic press button to interact, like all the Whittle baby horror games, you physically have to open doors, move objects, and break items using your cursor. Meaning a lot of panic screams and pissed panties while you break down a door while being pursued by God knows what. Frictional Games' entire library is held within high regard when it comes to horror games, and Amnesia The Bunker does not disappoint. Maybe being one of my top horror games in a hot minute. Although that being said, I didn't reckon much to Resident Evil Village, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for that. FYI, Resident Evil 7, goated.
It's good.
Dumb son bitch wasn't no good if it hit him.
Before we begin, make sure to slap that subscribe button and tickle the like button. Appreciate it. Amnesia The Bunker does not mess around, throwing you right into this shit, and like an eager beaver, this game takes no time to lube up and instead shoves his atmosphere straight in and makes you bite down on the pillow and enjoy the ride. You play Henri, a French soldier in World War I, sprinting through the trenches covered in mud, shit, and God knows what else, as you're pushed through this brief tutorial at breakneck speed. At the very start, you're given a revolver, which to my knowledge is the first ever firearm in an Amnesia game. But just like everything else in this series, it's not as straightforward as it seems. Not only do you need to press one button to bring out your gun and ready it, but you also need to hold the same button to check your ammunition count, because there is no HUD. And then once you've done that, you need to load each button individually by clicking. And to double down on the no HUD, you have to count your shots, otherwise click, click. I think in my hours playtime of this game, I found 4 bullets total, so those of you still using your fingers to count don't need to worry. You'll be run through some movement tutorials and you'll get your first taste at the physics-based puzzles when you have to remove planks from some cover. You'll then get introduced to the health system, but again, no HUD, so instead you'll feel around and check how much blood you're leaking by what's on your fingers. And you'll be shown a crafting system that's so basic it makes your mum look like she's a member of Mensa. But unlike her, it functions pretty well and fulfills a purpose. And then you get to play with some grenades. After this, you'll be gassed and blown up, then awaken in the bunker, all alone and with no memory of how you wound up there. Through smart use of lighting, Frictional Games make your first steps pretty intuitive. Just follow the light. This will allow you to discover your first set of journal entries, giving you a bit of an idea of what's going on, as well as your torch, which we'll circle back to later. Now, one thing to mention, you better like reading, because if you don't, you're in for a hell of a ride. Oddly enough, though, there is one set of journal entries which is voiced, and those are the ones written by Henri. The rest of them you have to read manually, God forbid. Now, while I do praise the devs a lot, they are sadistic bastards with this next game mechanic. Your torch needs to be constantly wound up to produce light. And to do this, you have to make noise by winding it up, while also winding up any monsters lurking. At first, this isn't really an issue while you get used to this mechanic, but it does quickly become one. Thankfully, you do get very slight low light vision, but it is not enough to navigate by. Once you stumble about a little and the hangover is actually worn off, if you pay attention to your surroundings, you may get a little bit of an idea of what might be coming. You may also notice that just like your social life, not a single person's around. Eventually though, through enough digging, you will find another survivor. Sadly though, he's beyond fucked up. He'll give you his empty revolver and tell you to get some ammunition from the pantry. While you're doing this, something else comes looking for a snack and finds him. Next, get past the padlock using your brand new portable lockpick. I don't even want to admit how long this took me to figure out. I just assumed there was a key somewhere, but I searched for ages. Today was definitely not a smart day for me. Up ahead, you'll find the safe room, a quickly familiar space. Now, you will use this place a lot, as it's the only place that I found with a map, a save point, and the all-important generator. Another sadistic move by the devs is you do not have a map on the M key. Instead, you have to use this one. There's also no autosave, so if you fuck up, you really fuck up. But together, these build the tension like no other. When you're lost in the dark being hunted by something with no idea idea where to go next, you better remember where this room is. And while I do call it a safe room, it has locks on the door for a reason. Another nice device is the storage locker in this room, and another flashback to Resident Evil, this is where you can hold stuff for safekeeping, because unfortunately you've got tiny pockets. You can now explore the entire bunker freely, and while it's not a huge space, it's easy to get lost, which makes it feel so much bigger. And adding the fact there's something hunting you throughout makes it even worse. Oh, and it reacts to sounds you make, so remember your torch? You can't wind it up without making a loud noise. And if that other shit wasn't bad enough, the place is littered with tripwires. So now you're fumbling around in the dark with no idea where you are, where you're going, being hunted by something, and the next thing you hear is the pull of a grenade pin. Bet your ass wish you had autosave now. And if that wasn't bullshittery enough, one last giant middle finger from the devs, they've also made the power generator a timed element. You'll find fuel around the bunker that you can use to feed the generator. Using this will turn the lights on. However, you can also use the fuel to make weapons. So now the catch-22 situation, do you want to see what's hunting you, or do you want to hurt it? To my knowledge, you can't kill the creature, but I honestly can't say I've tried. You'll also notice in this video I haven't shown you the monster because spoilers, duh. Anyway, now the fun begins. The soldier-made snack that you met earlier told you the exit had been destroyed and you need to blow up the rubble. He gave you some basic directions on where to go, but you'll find your path blocked at pretty much every turn in the beginning. Now you'll need to use the map to carefully plan your route and scavenge information and supplies from the environment. In what order you do the objectives and side quests is completely up to you. They also doubled down on this with some puzzles being able to be beaten in multiple ways. Do you smash a door open loudly, find the key and open it quietly, or use your last revolver round to just end it all quickly? Your call, buddy. Finally, Twisty's tip of the day. While you're scurrying around, remember to lock doors behind you, but be careful of other ways into the room. The physics system is there to both help and hinder you, so look for heavy furniture you could use to barricade certain entrances. Also, make sure to keep an eye out for usable hiding places, because you never know when you're gonna need them. All in all, Amnesia The Bunker takes about 4 to 5 hours to complete, so it's not a huge undertaking, but it's a damn wild ride. And that, my fellow nerds, is Amnesia The Bunker. And if you want to see me beat the entire game in one sitting, make sure to check out twitch.tv/twistyshape.
I've been drinking Kool-Aid cameras like I did when I was 9, cause I like to pretend that I haven't lost the time. In the end, the nostalgia, though it tastes fine, I can only drink a couple cause it feels like a lie.